Oh, Westbridge Hills, welcome back to episode 30, multiplayer with me, Mr. CDP and Moominseal.
If you come to the biogas plant, you will see that you have a lovely new
You
clean
sod! You
storage
absolute...
harvester.
Hang on, I'm going to start recording now because you're a little bugger. Now, if you remember what I mentioned on the last episode about Moominseal's obsession with clean machinery, and if you remember the absolutely horrific state of my forage harvester and the Bergman chaff trailer, I've just come down here and she's very kindly cleaned them for me. They don't look right clean.
Yes, they do. They look new and expensive, and they look like a great farmer.
Okay, if you say so. They look weird.
No, they do not look weird.
Okay. Right, I'm going to refill the slurry tanker, carry on doing the slurry injecting over there.
No, that's not straight.
You're more obsessive compulsive than I am.
Yeah.
The
It's like a perfect farm.
the two you just reverse that into the fence. I saw that.
No.
Yes, you did. I saw it stop abruptly. Don't you damage my vehicles?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No. Well, everyone's just seen it on video.
Okay.
We're watching now. Everyone's watching. Okay, that
No,
wise.
don't. My reversing is awful. Don't.
Okay.
Stop looking.
Okay. Right, that slurry tanker is now full. The Zoomhammer is working really, really well. The two harvesters are still harvesting away, and we're going to whiz up there momentarily with the two trailers to unload them. We are storing canola at the moment because the canola price is shocking, so we're going to be storing it in the silos. But our multiplayer adventure continues.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's actually going really, really well. It does mean I'm getting a lot done. Again, sometimes it's just nice to have that extra bit of help. Set the worker on this. And like I say, this is another one of those vehicles. The detailing with the back on as well is just brilliant. The fact that when you put the injector, the Zoomhammer injector on the back, it connects that pipe up to the rest of the trailer. It's just that added detail. It's really, really great. And the fact that it is injecting that, it's cultivating and injecting at the same time. That fertiliser going direct in where it needs to go. It's not wasting any. It's not squirting it all over the place where it doesn't need to be. It seems to be a very efficient way of getting the fertiliser into the ground. So at the moment, I'm really happy with this, and I'm happy with the way it's working. Like I say, I've never done it before, and I did feel that if you buy a slurry spreader, I think the slurry spreaders on there are quite small sizes, and I often found when I kind of tried them out, they just got through the slurry so quickly, it just disappeared. This field, any of the fields around the biogas plant, are probably going to do this if I've got slurry in that big tank, because they're close to these fields. I wouldn't want to be transporting slurry miles around the farm. I would think on the further out fields I'm probably going to still stick to a fertiliser spreader, but for the time being this actually works really well. I have to say I'm suitably impressed. That's a good shot, isn't it? Look at that. I like that. It is. Trouble is I don't want to press for a screenshot, which is really annoying because it tends to affect my recording. It kind of cuts off the recording for some reason. I don't know why. It's probably some setting that I'm missing. But anyway, right, I will now move over into my Deutz-Fahr, which you're already in and unloading. So I've actually jumped into the harvester instead. That's very efficient of you, Moominseal. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Excuse me.
How pleasant.
Sorry.
That's fine, I'm joking. Whence you have finished? God, how old was that? That's very Middle Ages. Whence you have finished. When you have finished, on that side of field, the top part of field 15, do you want to shift it to the bottom part or onto field 16? What are your thoughts?
Wait a minute. I think we should go for the bottom half of 15.
Okay, to the bottom half 15, and then we will do 16 and then begins that arduous task of fertilising and reseeding everything. But I am going to we're having a bit of a rethink on what we're going to put in these fields. That will come next. I am going to put canola in 14, the one that we're fertilising at the moment. So I'm going to move the canola off of probably this one, 15, the top part of 15. And I think 10 as well. I'm going to move it from the top of 15 and 10. I'm going to leave canola in 16 in the bottom part of 15, and I'm going to repurpose these two fields. So these two aren't going to be for canola anymore. I'm thinking of putting potatoes in one and sugar beet in the other, but I'm not sure which way around. But that's the plan at the moment. So we'll just get the canola out first, and we will go from there. Happy with that?
Okie dokie, sounds good to me.
Fantastic. Okay. Tell what I might do actually. I might, if I've got a spare tractor knocking about, I might get the fertiliser spreader onto field 10. We'll get the fertilising done now before we reseed it.
That's on top of 14.
I'm there in the rather noisy Ursus, which I love. It's a brilliant tractor. I really am liking it a lot. So I'll get that set on field 10, get the fertilising done on that, and then every time we finish a field we get the fertilising done, so at least we're good to go then with just seeding. Move that over a little bit and set that off and running. Now, you've been in this, haven't you?
What?
The cruise control was set on 0.
Yeah,
it's just the turn in the steering wheel. No, it's fine. Right. That's better. It's actually moving. Right, okay, that's going. All good. Get some fertiliser into that field. These trailers aren't quite full yet. Yeah, have you taken a load down and down to the silo yet at all?
No, because we've been splitting in between both trailers, but the one I was in will be full halfway to filling up.
Okay.
Don't look.
At what?
Behind you.
What do you mean?
Or beside you now.
Why?
Because I'm doing something.
What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm just.
You just cleaned my my mixer wagon. I can see you scurrying back across along the road.
I'm not doing anything.
You're cleaning all my equipment.
Yeah, I'm refueling.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good idea. Getting some refueling done as well. That's something I often realise very late, that I haven't actually refueled something. So
yeah,
it's a good idea.
Just have enough to get to the petrol.
Yeah. That was something I did mention before. It's interesting that on this one you've got a fuel tank at the main yard, and I think, is there a petrol station in the town? In Westbridge town? I can't remember.
There isn't, but there is a refueling point.
Okay. And on which one is it? Sosnovka, you've got a refueling point at the main yard, and there are a few petrol stations dotted about. On Bjornholm, there is no refueling point at the yard, so I had to buy a fuel bowser, fill it up, and take it there. And then, interestingly, some of the other weird things are, and I think I've mentioned this before as well, on Westfield. Oh, good grief! Westbridge Hills. I said Westfield because I'm in a field, and it's on Westbridge Hills. Down there, off to my right, is the farmhouse. Lovely. On Bjornholm, lovely farmhouse. On Sosnovka, no farmhouse. Where do you live? How peculiar. Yeah, just some of those strange little things that the obviously the map developers, game developers, just oversight, I guess. Just hadn't kind of thought of that, but it does add a different element. It does mean if you do have to buy a fuel bowser and fill it with fuel and put that at your farm, brilliant. It just adds a new element to it that wasn't originally there. I'm going to jump back over to the Terra variant, the Homer, and see how it's getting on. Not bad at all. I am. Yeah, I am. Honestly, yeah, it's quite impressed. I know a lot of you might be looking and thinking, no, just send it up and down the field. It's far easier. Problem I've got is if it runs out at one far end, I've got to come all the way back down to fill it up. At least going side to side, it seems to me to be a little bit more manageable. But yeah, I'm just wondering whether or not once I get about halfway, maybe send it up and down might not be a bad idea. Again, we'll see. I don't know, but it's doing a grand job. Very happy with it. Not that I'm a skinflint or anything, but you know, I will keep saying it's free. It's not costing me anything. It's free. And the flexible steering on the Terra variant is really helping. That said, I'm going to hit the tree.
Are we taking the canola to the silos in the main yard, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't see down this hill. Okay, there we go.
Now,
I've just set a worker on the bottom of 15 because the other one was finished.
okay. Now, for realism's sake, when this empties, I need to go back down the hill to the big tank down there to refill it. I'm not sure whether it's set automatically that if it reaches 0, it will just... Every time I try and speak. It's fine. If you could just die quietly, that'd be marvellous, thank you. Have a drink. You've got a mute button, haven't you, on your headset? No? Okay. It's fine. I would imagine everyone's really worried about you now.
I'm better now.
Good. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I don't know, if it gets to 0, whether it will just stop fertilising or whether it does that automatic thing where it kind of drains from the main tank. So it's a weird kind of... It does it by osmosis, I think. Yeah, don't know. We'll see. But it is still carrying on. It's still doing a great job. I might nip back in a little while when it does get down to 0, just to see what happens. Harvesters seem to be going great guns. And the fertiliser sprayer on field 10 is almost done, apart from that annoying little strip, because I did the same thing again. I said this last time I did this, if I'd have just set the sprayer off a little bit further over at the start, I wouldn't have been left with this tiny little strip, and I did exactly the same thing again. So, you'd think I'd have learnt, wouldn't you? Never mind. Now, if I am thinking of doing potatoes, I don't actually own a potato seeder, which is obviously going to prove something of a problem if I'm going to do potatoes. So I think I'm probably going to have to buy one. What do you reckon?
Yeah, you will have to buy one, won't you?
Yeah.
Otherwise you won't be able to plant potatoes.
It's kind of a prerequisite for planting potatoes, isn't it? Right, let me have a quick look and see how much they are. For the larger of the two potato seeders, and I think we are going to need the larger of the two, it is $57,000 with a 6 metre width, which we now own. Am I mad? Oh, hang on, what I should have checked. It requires 102 horsepower to pull it, so I think all the tractors we own have the ability to pull that if they need to. So these multiplayer episodes will have a huge impact on the farm now, because I had thought about putting potatoes in the fields and sugar beet in the fields, hadn't really ever got round to it. And as I've mentioned a few times now, doing the silage and being able to, get a chunk of money in the bank has suddenly catapulted this forwards, the farm as a whole. Now this is going to be interesting. I'm back onto the Holmer. It's saying 0 in the tank, but it is still turning around, so it hasn't stopped. So I'll be interested to see. We've got a few workers running, so the money is coming down. But on whether or not this is going to take it directly from the tank, I assume so. It's carrying on. It's not particularly realistic, is it, to be fair? So I don't know whether or not, whilst there's still slurry in the main tank, it will carry on doing this, or whether if you run out of slurry in the tank, it would start charging you, and where the money would start coming off your account. Like I say, that's not realistic, so I'm going to stop it there. I'll fold up the header. I'm going to whiz back over and fill it up. How are our harvesters going, or are you still too busy cleaning my machinery?
Sadly no, because everything else is being used, so I can't clean it.
Oh, that's a downside, isn't it? You can't clean the machinery that's being used. Oh, that's outrageous.
Oh, oh well. It's fine.
And as I said, the beauty of having this tank right here by the fields is that you can get down there quickly, you can refill it quickly, and you can get back onto the field relatively quickly. So in storage now, according to this, we've got 91,000 litres of canola in storage, because I'm assuming that Moominseal has been awesome and has been putting it in there while we've been going along.
Yep.
Interestingly, if I look at the prices for the flour mill, it's dropped even further from $900 per tonne down to $893. So it is dropping. That's not good. Right, I am full here. So I will go back out to the field and set this off again. I did say, for those of you that are more kind of eagle-eyed and paying attention, that I was going to do the canola harvest off screen, and I had every intention of doing it off screen, and then I was offered the assistance of my assistant, so I thought, you know what, might as well while we're here, and we'll put it on here and you can watch. If you don't want to, of course you don't have to, no one's forcing you. I've just realised I've missed a strip, not to worry. You can always skip these episodes and move on to the next one if you really wanted to. I'd rather you viewed them, but obviously you don't have to if you don't want to. If you do skip that, then you would miss out on me using this beautiful piece of machinery here. And this is a first. This is the first from Mr. Silly P on all 3 maps. Haven't used this yet. I'm thinking on Bjornholm I might get a slurry spreader. Again, I've got plenty of liquid manure slurry in the tank at the biogas plant on that map as well, so I think because I've used this one already, I might use a different type on that map. I just need to turn this around and do this strip here, because I realised I stopped halfway across the field. I also need to get back over with everything else, because I've realised as well that we're doing a multiplayer episode with Moominseal, and we're not actually getting to see much of Moominseal doing any of the work she's doing. It helps me greatly that while I'm doing this I know that other jobs are being done. However, as far as the multiplayer episode goes, you're not getting to see a huge amount of the multiplayer.
I don't mind. I don't mind helping. I'll happily just be in the background.
I know there is an ulterior motive. I do know that you don't mind helping for a very good reason, and that you don't mind helping because you are desperate to have Farming Simulator 17.
Yes.
Yes, you know, so the more help you can give now could end up with a reward at the end of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Okay. Well, we'll see, won't we?
You know, we need to get that premium edition.
Yeah. The premium.
Only for one thing. I just need that one thing of the whole pack.
You just want the blue power. I know the T7 blue power. I know you do. The only downside to that, and it's a small downside. I'm assuming on PS4, because that does say it's a PS4 exclusive tractor. I'm assuming it'll be available as a kind of a DLC that you'll be able to download separately. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Don't hold me to that. Because realistically, the premium edition, although it does come with the season pass, it does come with the 2 tractors extra and that T7 blue power. It's $59.99. That's in pounds. If you're watching from America, that would be more in dollars. I don't know what you guys pay for yours out there, but that's $59.99 in pounds. And the normal edition, just the game as it stands, I think is $39.99. So it's a £20 difference. It's a big, £20 difference. But I suppose for the season pass and for the fact you get the exclusive vehicles, which you would otherwise probably have to pay for as a DLC, it probably does work out pretty good, I have to say. How are we doing? Oh, you're moving the other harvester onto this field now?
Yes.
Fantastic. I'm in this harvester just looking on, watching you go.
Hello.
Hello. We are. Oh, there you are. There we go. Moominseal. I've said this before. I know it comes up with Sealy EG on hers. Unfortunately, that is her on-screen name, and the ones that we kind of set ourselves up with when we started the game. Her YouTube channel is Moominseal. That's why I keep referring to her as Moominseal. Every now and again, I may slip and call her other names. Not always pleasant ones, but it is Moominseal on her YouTube channel, and for gaming. However, when we a while ago set up her PlayStation account, we didn't think ahead to the fact we might be YouTubing or anything like that. So that's why it's different. Every time I mention Moominseal, if you're looking saying, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't say Moominseal.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And PlayStation have got this rule, haven't they, that you can't change your on-screen name because that's the one you set it up with, and that's going to be with you forevermore. There's some pros and cons. I get it. It means people can't, do things and then fraudulently start other accounts and that kind of stuff. I totally understand that, but let's be honest, there are arguments, people saying, well, you should have picked a name more carefully. I understand that as well, but realistically, even when I first started playing on the PlayStation and playing online, and I chose the name I wanted it to be on here, I never foresaw further enough ahead that I might be doing YouTube clips.
Yeah.
You might start playing on the PlayStation as a teenager, and then as you're older, you might think, I want a more grown-up name on here. I really do think they should think of it as an option. Right, I'm going to jump into the Case Puma with the IT runner. Just to get out of curiosity, what do you think of the IT runner pack?
I like it.
Yeah, it's a good bit of kit. I like it. It's very handy. I did have problems with the bale container attachment that went on the back. Couldn't get on with it. I sold it. It was really twitchy when you put bales on it, or too many bales maybe. I don't know whether I put too many bales on it. It kept rocking, and when it was rocking, the bales kept moving on it. So it wasn't brilliant. I wasn't overly impressed. Unfortunately, it was only one of the trailers so far that I've used. I did have a few problems with the forestry one on Bjornholm. That kind of did the same thing. So again, it could be kind of the scripting on it, or it could have been just the fact I did overload both of those trailers, which was probably my fault.
Well, it is a mod, isn't it? So obviously they're not going to be.
Well, it's a DLC. I mean, it should be. They are Giants ones, and it is a DLC. We're not. It's not a PC version, so we're not running any other scripts or anything like that. Yeah. Anyway, right. Looking at the time, again, we have come to the end of another episode. We are getting a lot done. But these episodes are absolutely flying by. So, same as always, if you've liked the episode so far, and we are getting a lot done on this multiplayer, you can see right off in the distance that Holmer Terravarian still putting fertiliser in the ground, so the yellow back on that. We've got twin harvesters running in field 15. If you like the episode, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please subscribe to myself and Moominseal's channel. If you want to leave us a comment, please leave a comment. If you're not following us on Facebook, please follow us on Facebook. We are putting screenshots onto Facebook regularly, and I believe that whenever I post onto YouTube, it puts a link onto the Facebook page as well to the YouTube clip. So, from me, as ever, thanks for watching. From Moominseal,
bye.